Hi folks, welcome to another Gourmet on the Road update or a GOTR update. And we are still in Mysuru and I'm in Le Upu, the all-day dining restaurant at the Gourmet Mysore. This has been our base over the last few days and we've been enjoying our stay here at the Gourmet Mysore. Since our last update, we've covered a few interesting culinary spots here in Mysuru. And I'm going to give you a quick update on that. But before that, let me remind you that I'm going to take up 2 or 3 reader queries and also read out a couple of viewer comments as shout outs. So stick around to this update till the very end. Enjoying this cup of green tea in the weather here. It's been raining here in Mysuru and I guess it's raining in most parts of the country. And over the last few days, we've tried to explore some interesting culinary spots here in Mysuru. So I went to an interesting cafe the other day and this one's called the Malgudi coffee shop. And the interesting part is that this cafe is set up with a very noble intent, that is to provide a source of livelihood to young women who come from less privileged backgrounds. So I went there and I tasted some lovely scrumptious cakes that these young women prepare. So do look out for that episode on the Malgudi coffee shop. Mysuru is not too far from Coorg, and the one cuisine that I miss in a restaurant in Bengaluru is good Kodava food. I also visited an interesting Kodava restaurant here called Simply Kodava, and this is a restaurant that's run by a Kodava family. So I had a very interesting meal there. So do look out for that episode. You know, when you talk about Mysuru and you talk about pulao, there is one place that is synonymous with pulao here, which is Hanumantu Hotel. So I spent an entire morning at Hanumantu Hotel with the second and third generation of the family that runs this establishment. I took a close look at how their iconic pulao is made and also tasted the mutton pulao with some other meaty sides. Speaking of meaty deliciousness, there is another eatery here in Mysuru and this one is called Tegu Mess, and this is as popular. Set up as a mess to cater to students in the area about 40 odd years ago. Today Tegu Mess stands as a beacon for local style non-vegetarian food. So that's coming also to an episode of Gourmet on the Road. And when you speak of Mysuru, where is Mysore without the Mysore Pak? And this afternoon I tasted a range of interesting, tasty, delicious, melt in the mouth Mysore Pak, right from Guru Sweets, where the Mysore Pak was first invented. Actually, it was the great grandfather of the family of the sons who run Guru Sweets today, who invented the Mysore Pak in the royal palace here. I also went to Shree Mahalakshmi Sweets, which also does the Mysore Pak and does some very interesting variants as well. So we've got a delicious episode on the Mysore Pak coming up soon. Well, for vegetarians, I visited a tiffin room here and this one's called Gayathri Tiffin Room. Gayathri Tiffin Room is about 50 odd years old and they do their very special Gayathri Masala Dosa and also their open butter masala dosa. So I tasted these two of course and also a bunch of other tiffin treats here. And to round off my Gayathri Tiffin Room outing, I also visited a very interesting refreshment center here and this one's called Brahmin Soda Factory. So do stay tuned to Food Lovers TV for that very interesting episode too. So that's it on Mysuru. Make sure you catch all these delicious episodes of Gourmet on the Road that's coming soon to Food Lovers TV on YouTube. Now moving on to a couple of queries that we've received from our viewers, and this one comes from Shubham Srivastava. Post this query on the Brahmin coffee video. So if you haven't seen the Brahmin's coffee video yet, I've got a link to the video right here. Make sure you click on it and watch it, and also in the description below. Shubham says, hi sir, how do you manage to get permission in these establishments? Is it because of your background or they allow you readily? Because I tried shooting for a few places but did not get permission. So Shubham, to be honest, most of the places that I go to, I just go in as a customer and then start shooting because I want to get a flavor of the space just as any customer would get, or unless let's say I want to go back into the kitchen and really explore it. and perhaps I need to take some permissions. So I think people see the sincerity of the work that we're trying to do, and then they cooperate with us. There are instances where initially people aren't too cooperative, but then they see us go about our work and then they come in and they support us, or they help us, they make things easier for us. Of course, now also with the Gourmet on the Road show, it has quite a bit of viewership. So people now tend to recognize us. So, we've been going around in Mysuru, and we were quite surprised to find many people recognize us, whether it was in establishments or even on the street. So I think it kind of becomes a little easier, but we try and enter a place without advance notice, because we want to get a flavor of the space, the establishment, like any other consumer would. Well, I've got a query from Sama Alia Khan, who responds to our video on Rajvardhan Foods. I hope you've caught that episode. If not, I've got a link to that right here and also in the description below. She says, were you a chef before doing this channel? Because you tell the perfect taste or amount of things that are put inside that. I assume she means the dishes. Great. Well, Sama, I am not a chef, but I've spent a lot of time in the hospitality space. You must look up our Q&A video, which will tell you a little more about me and the work that I've done before this. As part of the work that I did in the hospitality space, I think it gave me the opportunity to really explore food quite in depth. And I think over a period of time, I think I've spent over 2 decades now in this business. I've kind of begun to understand food a little deeper, and of course I'm still learning. Every day I'm tasting something different, and I'm learning something new, I'm tasting something new. So that journey continues, but I think I've been in this journey for the last 2.5 decades. So I think it kind of helps me relate to what I'm tasting. So I've got another comment here from Pallavi Kulkarni. She also responds to the Rajvardhan Foods video. She says, please show your content writer such great narration. Well, Pallavi, at the outset I must mention that we do not script the show. Gourmet on the Road is an unscripted show. What we definitely do is a bunch of research before we set out on an expedition, before we set out to review a restaurant. Because when we go to a restaurant, when we go to an establishment, we want to be sure that the establishment is worthy of a visit. We want to know what are the popular dishes that people enjoy there, etc. So when I go into an eatery and when I'm tasting a dish, my responses are purely based on what I'm tasting at that point in time. So as I'm tasting, I'm collecting my thoughts basis what I'm tasting, and that's what I'm narrating. So there is no scripting for Gourmet on the Road. So I hope that answers your query, Pallavi. A couple of shout outs. This one's from Sunny Amaravadi. He again responds to the Brahmin's Coffee video. He says, Mr. Amanna, this is my first ever comment on any YouTube video. I've been watching your videos for quite some time, and this video in particular tops all of it. Your presentation of food and expressions while eating are excellent. Truly professional food channel on YouTube. Keep going, appreciate it. Well, thank you very much, Sunny. I'm glad that this video compelled you to post your first ever comment on any YouTube video. We're truly touched at this gesture. So this is a comment from Wins V, and she says, oh my God, you're the best. You have reviewed almost every iconic eatery in South and West Bangalore, which used to be our go-to spots during college in younger days. Miss all these restaurants, their food, nothing like Namma Bengaluru. My husband loves your reviews too. He likes the way you say after that first bite, because we both do that too. These videos really lighten up our mood. Well, thank you very much, Wins. I'm glad that our videos provide you and your husband that much needed lighter moment that we all need in the busyness of our day-to-day lives. And I've got the last comment that I'm reading out is from Sinu Srinivasan. He seems a bit upset with us. He says, you don't respond, we send message, you don't reply, we'll reject your video, thank you. Well, Sinu, I do read most of the comments that I get. I'd like you to keep those comments coming in. Just because I don't respond to comments, please don't think that I'm not reading them. I am reading them, but currently our focus is to produce more and more great content, and we are traveling we're shooting, we're editing, we're spending a lot of time in post-production. So all that really requires a lot of time. And I know that you would rather have us spend time producing more videos than spend time answering all those comments. We truly value your comment. Keep your comments coming in. It helps us understand what you're thinking about the various shows that we're producing. It also helps us fine-tune the direction for future content. So thank you very much for all your love, for all your support. Until the next episode of Gourmet on the Road, stay safe and happy eating. And if you'd like to support Food Lovers TV, do log on to foodlovers.in and click on the Support Food Lovers banner. Until the next time, goodbye.